And I think we're live. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. If you are watching live, let me know that you're here. Give me a little hey, hey, hey in the chat. Welcome to tonight's stream. Hopefully tonight will be great. I can see there's already some people in the chat. Hello, Schulz Division. Hello, Shadon Bass. Hello, Plexi. Hello, everyone. Hello, 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 and welcome back to hopefully a more regular rhythm of streams again. I'm just I have a new drink tonight. It is not the classic Hindbærbos, the raspberry drink. It's actually a little bit of chocolate milk, but specifically, actually, it's like it's kind of it's like a soy chocolate milk. Hopefully, you can all hear me loud and clear, and there should be no issue. And welcome to the stream. So tonight we are gonna just rearranging some stuff here on my table. We are gonna look at some line art, and specifically the line art we're gonna look at is kind of doing line art in line art in Blender. And I've been playing around with that recently, and there's a few techniques that I think are kind of interesting. Nothing groundbreaking. It's definitely stuff that people are using online, but I thought it'd be fun to play around with a little bit. So my plan is just to make a little bit of an asset or something, and then do some line art, and then do some modification to the line art in Photoshop afterwards. If you are new to the stream, if this is the first time you're watching a stream, one of my streams at least, then the way it works is that we go on for about at least 2 hours, and then there's going to be a break in the middle of the 2 hours. And along the way, feel free to ask any questions about anything, literally anything. I'm an open book. I'm down for anything. And basically, I'm just going to be working a little bit, chatting, talking back and forth, and then I'll hopefully put on some music that's just going to get to coast there in the background. I also had a lot of issues with my lights. I have these Elgato lights, and for some reason they didn't want to connect to my computer for the past week. Then today I tried with my my app here on my phone, and now they finally want to connect, but only that one up there, which is kind of bright. I'm just gonna quickly adjust it here, so I could bring it down. You see, that's great. Bring it down here, make it more warm and cozy, like that, etc., etc., etc. So, etc., etc., etc. I'm gonna open a new Blender file here. I'm gonna show you guys what's also going on. There we go. I'm gonna turn on PC sounds here. Just gonna close any distractions. Specifically, I'm probably gonna open volume mixer. I'll just take Discord and mute Discord, because that's the one that usually causes some sound stuff. That's good. And I hope you guys enjoyed the last stream. If you haven't watched the last stream, I really recommend watching it. It was not really a particularly regular stream. It was a little bit of a different kind of stream. It was more of a lecture. In that sense, it was a long one for that matter, but it's some of the most essential and fundamental info you can find on design, if you ask me. So that's just how it goes, etc. Hello, Hilly. Welcome to the stream. Shadon, having a bit of a creative block, unsure on what to create and all that. Any suggestions to overcome this? A creative block. So. Oh, so many ways to answer that question. I'm a really bad person to ask that question too, mostly because it's very, 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 very rare that I have a creative block. I don't think I can't like remember where I've had a creative block, but I know that most of my colleagues definitely have that. And that doesn't make me special. I think it's just more like a personality type. I also know people who have it like me, who just keep going and they don't have an issue. It doesn't make you less or more creative. It's just the way your brain likes to operate or whatever. Where you kind of like sitting down, like, I don't know what to make, or etc., etc., etc. So maybe you could elaborate a little bit on what you mean by creative block, unsure on what to create and all that in suggestions to overcome this. So do you feel like you don't have anything that comes to you, or do you feel like the stuff you make is not that interesting, or do you feel like you know what I mean? It's like what kind of creative block is it? Is it that literally just like, oh, nothing is coming to me or whatever, etc., 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 versus like, okay, the stuff you end up making is just not really the thing you want to make, or something like that. Audio is quite low. Okay. What can I do? So the audio of my microphone is quite low. I can do this. Maybe that's nicer. I can also increase the volume here a little bit. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. I'll just see if I can bring it up here. Dakota, welcome. Blixer, welcome. Barry Ryan, hello. Welcome. How's this, guys? Just let me know on the whole audio thing. Is it well, that's good to know actually. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm peaking too much. What about this? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Let me know. Etc. No, so I think on the whole creative block thing, then the whole creative block thing, it's basically it's a hard one. I think the biggest thing I tell people actually with the creative block thing is that don't think that you have to reinvent the wheel. I think actually most great things come from you making a slight adjustment on something we already know and love, and then it's like, okay, you want to do sci-fi, whatever, you kind of like, a lot of times you just look at something that already exists, like, well, Star Wars is a thing, maybe I can just tweak it slightly and make it different, maybe not exactly that way, but I think you get the point. Or maybe you think ancient Egypt is interesting, so you just do a slight twist on that and you create something like Marine in Game of Thrones, which is kind of Egyptian-like, and they have like slaves and basically pyramids and that kind of stuff, you know, just a slight twist. So I think if you have anything in kind of just in memory where you're like, oh, I find that interesting, I'm just gonna explore that more and learn more about that and then do something related to. I honestly think that's the nicest way of getting out of a creative block, is to make it easy for yourself and just find, like, basically indulge a little bit into something that you like. Say, okay, I like this, I'm gonna see if I can push my interest a little bit here. If that doesn't work, or if you want to try something different, then I suggest trying something completely different. It's like either stay really familiar or like go really far away from your comfort zone and then dive into something you don't know anything about. Watch a documentary on something you would never watch and see if you figure something out, you know. It's not like an amazing advice, but I find that works, etc., etc., etc. So but if you can elaborate, Shade, on a little bit more on the kind of issue you're having or the kind of thoughts, then I'd love to speak more. Okay, cool. So we're gonna look at this line art thing, and what I think is kind of interesting is that I haven't played a lot with line art, but I played a little bit with it, and I wanted to try some things, and you guys get to come along for the ride a little bit. I will see. So what I want to do is I want to make a little vehicle thing, maybe. And I kind of was inspired by this artist. I just want to find this artist and show you. Let's see here. Martin Hermans. There we go. So he has this kind of stuff going on. Super cool stuff. Vehicle stuff. And then he's basically doing like a good 3D render thing, and then he often draws on top. So he kind of has this process where he has a 3D model and then he draws the details on top. And I think we can do some kind of hybrid thing where we can render out some line art from Blender and then we can actually modify it. So that's kind of my approach right now. But I also maybe want to look a little bit at the whole cell shaded shading look. We just need something to make here. So I want to do something where we can do a little bit of a breakdown of what's going on inside. Let's do a, what should we do here? It doesn't have to be too complicated. It can be something like a weird truck. We've done trucks before, but let's look at this here. Do some kind of weird truck here. I don't want to make it too detailed. It's just going to be very simple. That's the point, at least. There we go. Oh, let's put some music on in the background here, just while we're doing this stuff. Finding some music. Bum ba bum ba bum. Stream music. Stream playlist. And here you have the songs for those of you curious. Let's start off with a different song here. No, not that one. Nope. Sure, that's fine. Okay, let's see here. Mirror. I want to get that on the x-axis. There we go. Actually, I'm going to turn on screencast keys, just in case anyone wants that. Then they're there. I'm not going to like really care about the exact specific design of this truck here. I would rather demonstrate some of the like the line art features. So it's just going to go kind of fast with this stuff here. And it's just a lot of reusing shapes, like so, like that. There we are. Let's see here. Yep. And then maybe we can do a little bit like this here. Do we need that actually? Maybe just like that. Cool. Then we're gonna get some wheels. Let me see if I can check the chat here. Dakota saw the line-up subject and had to join. Personally struggled a lot with that technique. Yeah, me too. But I have some tricks and tips that I hope will help. Sometimes just embrace the creative block and wait until the idea comes up. Consuming more art help break art block. Not always. I want to work on something different. Interior scenes, however, this is not being my forte, caused me to give up or lose interest in the project. Okay. It not being your forte. I actually think in that case, I think it can be nice. For me, it would be just having a solid source of inspiration for the specific subject matter. So like, okay, if I'm not really super excited about interiors, then I want to find someone who does interiors in a way that I like. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is a cool way of thinking about interiors. Then I want to look at that just to feel inspired, and then I'll probably try to replicate what they're doing. just so I feel like I'm learning something, and I don't have to think too much about like, okay, am I gonna make something great, original, and new? Because I'm kind of just trying to emulate somebody most likely better than me at the thing I'm trying to do, and then take it from there. I've done this a lot. Like that specific method is something I've just done a lot. I don't need to do it like that actually. Let's see here, like that. Mirror there. Like that there. Not the most interesting truck here, but maybe we can do something. Now I kind of wish I had a more interesting concept for this thing. But that's just how it is. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Let's see. Maybe I'll just look for a quick reference here. So we can find something that just gives me a tiny bit of inspiration to do something slightly more interesting. Like what kind of truck should this be, guys? Let me know in the chat. So one thing I want to do is that I want to create, so something needs to happen inside of this compartment here. Something, I guess, there needs to be something inside we want to look at. So it can't just be like cargo, like I think something needs to happen inside this thing. Maybe, what if it unfolds? Let me just see here what we got here. Create a more crazy angle here. A little bit longer. Okay, that's actually kind of interesting. Now I think I'm getting something now. Just have to kind of find that. Also, like, vehicle design is not really my forte, to be honest. Like, it's not my strong side at all. Actually say it's one of the weaker things in my arsenal. Mirror. Oh, throw that behind there. And like so. Then we can do this thing here, like that, like that, like that, like that, like that. Sure, that's fine. And then we take these guys, we say Control L, link object data. There we go. Then it's gonna link there. That's great. And I want some kind of thing going on with like that. that maybe. It has that thing. And maybe there's something like this here going on. Nice. Alien animal transport. I was thinking like some kind of reconnaissance thing where you have some people sitting inside the truck maybe. Or maybe it I kinda like this thin slender vibe here. Maybe it's this housing here that I don't like. Just maybe it just needs to come down. Okay. Something going on there. I'm just taking shapes and just reapplying them, you know, here and there, just to basically sculpt this thing out. But then I really want some kind of gate thing happening behind there. What if this thing was like wide out there? Was it cooler when it was up there? Oh. Something's happening there. Yeah, I'm just analyzing the shapes as much as possible here. Then what if this thing, I kind of want to give it like a bumper. I can grab these guys here and just say, I like reusing shapes as much as possible. It helps maintain kind of a shape language. Instead of creating a new shape, then I'll just take a shape that already exists and then just reappropriate it somewhere. Then everything slowly kind of fits. Like that, basically. And then it kind of has that look. Okay. Let's see if we give everything a bevel. Is that possible? Clamp overlap. Just give everything just a slight bevel like that. Nice. And there we have a truck kind of thing. And I want to create a few separations. I want to create some glass here maybe. I don't know how big this truck is, but let's do I have any asset browser stuff right now? No, I remove all that stuff. I need to reset that up again. But I actually have this character here from an upcoming project, so you guys will get to see that. It's totally out of place in terms of design and stuff, but it's a good scale right now. So we have all this here. We're gonna parent it to that one. We're gonna scale along the 3D cursor, and then scale by 2. That's a decent sized truck right there. Pretty cool. Okay, there we go. So let's see if we can also just get all these guys to apply the scale here. Oh. So it can apply scale on these guys. Okay. So I guess maybe the data is not linked anymore. Oh, it's still linked. No, okay. It's done. Nice. Oh yeah, the mono wheel video, like if you guys watched back in the day some of the, or back in the day, previous stream, I showed this like mono wheel project that I've been doing. I will post it at some point properly as a nice post, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. Let's see here, just a little bit of extra. Let's do it the other way around. You see, even though this is not the perfect form for the thing, it just gives me a little bit of, you know, I already have these shapes and then I can just move them around and then I basically got something. Oh, I see, that's why. There we go. Something like that. Could actually use the manifold one. Extrude non-manifold. Oh, it was turned off. Then it should retain the edges, right? Nope, it doesn't. Isn't that the manifold one? No, sorry, that's the manifold one. Ah, doesn't really work, does it? Great. Merge by distance. Let's try again. Nope. It just doesn't work. I get it. Okay, cool. Like that, like that. And then I want to create some glass here somehow. I'm gonna I guess I'm gonna see that in Eevee. Then I just want to do some quick textures on these guys. These guys are gonna be the wheels here. Like that maybe. And then this is gonna be the, let's call it armor 1. They're gonna have a sort of color. Maybe they're gonna be like that sort of color. Okay, and they all have that. Awesome. And this is gonna also be armor 1 here, but maybe we can make it a little bit like that. And then we do like this here, we say assign, and we do like that maybe. Also gets assigned there. And then maybe also this one here. Just creating a little bit of color separation, you know, nothing like overly fancy here. Then we can bring in a little bit of a box like this. We use this to just create some cool and cozy separation. Like that. Control minus. That's going to activate the bool tool. I set that to fast. gonna duplicate it. Oh, it extract there. I'm gonna say intersect instead. There we go. And we're gonna maybe put this one underneath there. Maybe we put that one underneath there. And then we're gonna apply that one. We're gonna apply that one. There we go. And this one will have none of that. Yeah, pretty cool. Maybe that bit is a little bit weird. Then we can take that and just do like this. Yeah. Okay, and then this one will have a new one. It'll be sure. Like that. It's not the most awesome color here. Just because this whole cabinet needs to be that color. Yeah, that feels better. And then we could do some individual stuff. Let's get something for the glass here. Like this, and boink, like that. Sorry, I'm not super good at paying attention to the chat right now, but you will not be forgotten if anyone's saying something really important. And intersect. There we go. Maybe this whole thing will just get to, or actually maybe just this thing will get to selection there. Right, maybe this thing can get deleted, and then this thing can just be separated. There we go. There we go. And then we say fast. Then we take it, duplicate it, and we say intersect instead. And then maybe this guy can actually come over here instead. And maybe something like that. Like that maybe. And then like there. Yeah, and then we get that window here. That's exactly what we want. And we'll create a little bevel there. Maybe we displace this inwards. And we say apply, apply, there. And then we have a bit of a truck thing. Nope, not modifier. We're gonna give this a new thing, like a window. And the window is gonna be blackish and not very rough. It's kind of interesting, that edge there. Maybe I can do something with that at some point. Yeah, it's not the best look. It looks a little bit derpy. Maybe I can do something here to actually make that a little bit nicer. Okay, don't have any more undos. Oh. that here, and then I'm just trying to kind of actually rush through this a little bit, just so that we can get to the whole line stuff, because that's actually what I wanted to talk about. But I just need something to use, like to have. Okay, that feels pretty good, I think. Window. And let's create a little bit of a separation here. There. No, I think actually these guys here, they get to also be this material here. Yeah. Sorry, I've been neglecting the chat a little bit here. You guys are writing some awesome stuff. Mega fauna transport, that anti-riot projection vehicle, the truck shape reminds me of a spaceship that looked like a cicada. Alien animal transport looks like the harvester from Red Alert. Oh, okay. Digging the rhino beetle wipe, awesome. Give the hat thing that trucks have to make them more aerodynamic. Vehicles are my weaker skill, creates a dope assault carrier. Shh. The same man made a cool ass monowheel, awesome. He's flexing. Oh, I'm flexing, great. That monowheel video was so cool. Phase stream in terms of content, I think. Okay, well then I appreciate that. That's awesome. So about to get hit by that truck full force, would I die? Yeah. Confirmed. What was I suggesting to add Greeble to test line weight with tight detail? Yeah, we can do some. I don't really have a Greeble thing right now, but I can do some kind of something. Okay, so we got this truck thing here. That's good. Let's create a. I really should include my library here. Maybe I can do that real quick. Edit preferences, system file paths. Let's see here. Blender assets. Accept. Yeah, here I have some stuff that I can basically use. Let's see here, I have a few things. Yeah. Let's see what I have in terms of. I have some of these things here. Some of these things. I don't think I have any wheels actually. I know I have all these things here, but I didn't make those kits, and I'd rather just use the stuff that I made and know how to use. Oh, it's stuttering a little bit. Let's see here. Get some of this stuff here. Some piping stuff. Some of the whoop. Okay, Blender crash. Great. We haven't even saved. Schultz, where have you been? No saving time for me. Autosave. Today 20. No! So it's just gone, guys. Plex, you didn't miss anything. That was stupid. That was just the worst. Damn it. Okay. Let's. I'm gonna get an old project. Okay. I do have a truck from previous. Sorry. I have a truck from previous stream. Maybe you guys remember. We're gonna get that one. Then we're gonna modify it. I just checked the autosave and it was not there. Oh, so stupid. You know? At least I wasn't alone in the pain. Like, you guys were there to watch the whole thing. Truck. We call the truck Ballerina, that's why I can't find it. Let's just open this file instead here. Okay, I do have a truck here with some awesomeness going on. So this is the truck I did on one of the streams, but basically I finished the truck off camera and brought it up to speed, basically. So it's awesomeness. Okay. This thing here, is it? How's this one? Oh, I used the geometry nodes to do this. Okay, cool. Well, let's delete this. Let's delete that one. Let's delete that one. Let's get the truck out here. There's the truck. We're going to keep all this cool animation stuff. We got a thing there, and then we'll just try to do it with this thing here. We're gonna bring the ship in. Hopefully that'll all be animated and great. Yeah, that's cool, awesome. And we're gonna bring this guy. We're gonna create a save as here. Say truck line. There we go. Save. I don't know what's in texture here. It's probably just some. Oh, that's something we made, I guess. Delete hierarchy. Just got one scene. That's great. Bools. We don't need that anymore. I think. Hopefully, we can just delete hierarchy. Okay. Cool. Maybe we don't need the ship right now. We just need this guy. And these guys. They're there. And maybe we can create one where these guys are folded or something. Like this. Just to make it look a little bit more. Like that. There we go. That's our little truck here. Cool. And then what I want to do is I want to take the texture and I actually want to remove all this stuff here. I want to also apply everything. Can I apply everything in terms of visual geometry to mesh here? That kind of stuff. Yeah. Cool. Etc. Okay, maybe I did a wrong thing there. Let's delete, because I deleted all the booleans. It doesn't matter, it's fine. Let's just move on. Thought they were applied. Okay, cool. Nice, like that. Change the mesh. Okay, nice here. Stuff. And what I want to do is that I want to remove the materials from everything here. Oh, there's a lot of stuff though. There's a lot of stuff. Do we need the animation for this thing? It is kind of handy to have that animation. Let's see here. Alright, we could just create a material. We'll call it basic. And then we'll take everything and Control L, link materials. There, everything. Basic, nice. Metal, don't need that. We can keep the glass there. It's fine. And we can do that. That. And that. And then that. Super metal, nice. Oh, this one has a lot. Okay. And that one can have super metal gone also. Okay, and metal gone. There. There, that's kind of our model there. Let's look at the whole line art thing. Let's look at the whole line art thing. So we are gonna. The way that the line art thing works is that you have to be in Eevee first of all. I'm gonna turn off all this ambient occlusion, screen space reflection stuff, and then you essentially want to create this thing called the grease pencil line art renderer thing. And if you shift A on the grease pencil, there are three options basically. There's the scene line art stuff and the collection line art stuff and the object line art, and basically all creates the same thing except with different settings on it. I typically work with the collection line art thing because I think it just works the best. I'm going to click the truck, shift A, grease pencil, collection line art, and then we're going to get line art applied. And the way the line art works is that it only works from the point of view of the camera. So I'm going to take the camera here and move it, and it's going to be very heavy because the line art thing is just very heavy. And we're just going to turn it off in the scene, and then I'm going to create a camera shot right here, something like that. Just a very clear shot of the thing, like so. We're even gonna, okay, I guess we already have that. I'm just gonna move this camera here. There we go. And now if I take the line art thing we created, which is here, I'm gonna pull it out of the thing here and turn it on. It's gonna render a line art on top, like so. And now we have line art. And there's a couple of different settings. There's the thickness and things like that, and there is, you know, edge types, and that's kind of the primary thing that you would probably be adjusting. And it just depends on what kind of edges it creates or what kind of lines it creates, depending on, you know, the feature of the model or whatever. Let's see if we set this to 30. Then we're gonna get something like this here, like that. I'm gonna go here. Just set the viewport display to like this, and then we have this kind of line art thing going on, and it's already kind of nice with this like very basic look on top, but there's still a lot of other stuff that you can do with the line art thing. Okay, this one does a lot just on the contour. Intersections. Material borders. I guess there's no material borders right now. Loose. Okay. Contour. You can also do silhouette. Then you're just gonna get that whole thing right there. and you can see some places we're still missing some bits to move here. There we go. So yeah, now we're getting this nice little silhouette here. We just need to get rid of this stuff here. Rid of the glass. Doesn't need to have glass on it. Then we have this nice silhouette line. Then we can individual silhouette. How does that work? Oh, this is also quite nice. It's almost nicer than contour. Contour is a little bit more aggressive. So what I will typically do is I'll find kind of like a base for like, okay, this is my surrounding silhouette thing, and I'll say, okay, 35. Maybe that's the thickness. Actually, maybe 30 was actually kind of nice. Then I have my line art here. Then I'll duplicate it, and then here I will adjust the thickness to be something lower, maybe like a 20, and then I will use that one for other stuff like intersections or crease stuff. Yeah, probably more crease stuff here. And then I'll set the crease down, maybe 50. Okay, it's quite aggressive on those wheels. Wish it was a little bit less aggressive. Maybe I can use it together with a contour. And then that actually has quite a nice feel, the way that the lines are a little bit softer. I can just look at intersections here. I get that extra layer, etc. And we're getting like a nice vibe. Then I think what I want to do here is make this into a new material. Just call it ground. Ground here. Then I'm going to take basic, and we can start modifying that color to something more like this. Then we take the wheels here, give them a new color here, and call that wheel color. And we get something like that. And now we're getting a pretty good approximation here. Actually, maybe ambient occlusion. We could use that to get a little bit of definition. This is a grease pencil we're using. And now we have a good, already have a solid like kind of separation of stuff. I want to create another one here. Whoops, that's the wrong one. I'm gonna go basic here. I'm just gonna turn off the line art for now. Actually gonna put the line art in a new collection. We're gonna call it line art. And we're gonna do some stuff I want to show you with like showing stuff inside that I actually think is really exciting, but we'll just have to get there. This guy here, gonna duplicate this one and call it metal or secondary or something like that. And then I'm gonna make this kind of darkish, and then these guys like materials. Yeah, so they become like that, like materials. Maybe these guys can also kind of like materials. Just getting a little bit of variation here. I think this rubber foot here can also be like that there. This guy can also be like this metal thing here. Yeah, feels pretty good. Maybe even like that there. Not entirely sure about these guys here, but maybe this guy can actually maybe green. I kind of like that. Yeah, that feels nicer. Okay. Has a nice palette to it there. Okay, these are all the same color. That's fine actually. Then we get a little bit of variation. And then if we turn on the line art, then we get something like this, which looks pretty nice. Whoa. Save. Good one. Good one. So we got that thing now. And then, oh, just gonna pull up something here. Look at some quick inspiration. Okay, then I think what's kind of interesting is maybe trying out some cell shader stuff. So I'll just go to shading here, keep this up here, and then you can see that the way we can do shading here is we can convert this into a shader to RGB, and then here we can get a ramp, and actually this one should probably be a diffuse. I just want to show this. We might not use this. It's just I want to show it. And here we can basically clamp the values. Then we can start creating like a little bit of like a cell shaded look. And here we have to be careful with the shadows. So if I go to the sun, go to shadow, and I go cascaded shadow map, then here we can look at the distance of the sun, 100. And the more precise the closer we get to the range, the precise the shadows will be. We can even do, I can do 4 there. Just want to see what it allows me to do. Distribution here. I just want to find the right balance of stuff. Something like that. Context shadows, pretty good. Just getting that there. And then I'm going to go do shadows here. I'm going to set this to 2048. I could also just say to full high bit depth. There we go. We take this one and just say what kind of distance would we want here. It's not the most essential thing, but yeah, that actually fit pretty good. And in terms of lighting, actually it doesn't look too bad. And then we can set this to constant. And then we get this cool cell shaded look here. We could even have another one here. That's just gray for some of the stuff here. Like that. Actually quite dig these kind of colors. So you could do something quite stylized like that, which is super cool. Then we have a truck like that, with the cell shade look, or we can have this one here. You know, they each have their own look. I'm not quite sure what I like here. I'm going to be using this one. I just wanted to show the cell shaded look. But I want to show you how we can use the line basically to our advantage. So to play a little bit more with the line, I want to create a little bit of an interior inside of this cockpit here. So I'm going to create, it's not going to be very complicated. It's going to be pretty simple actually, but it's going to allow us to, it's going to allow me to show a method that I'm really beginning to like, and a set of tools that I haven't used that much in Blender, but now I'm finally getting around to using them. So let's create a little bit of a cockpit here in terms of like a screen or some kind of dashboard or something like that. So we just have to imagine some people sitting in here. Maybe nobody's sitting in the middle there, but somebody is sitting over here. This is gonna be a chair. Oh. There, there, there. And then there we have that, there. I just don't know how big this thing is in comparison to a person. Oh. Okay. Let's just see here. That's definitely a little bit too big. Something like that. And then we have, wait, the windows up there. Maybe do something like that. Mirror across this thing. There'll be two people sitting there, two people sitting there. That's cool. And maybe there's some stuff happening in here. Let's just try to think about this a little bit here. Okay, like that. And then maybe now this actually becomes the cockpit or the dashboard thing. Something like that. Something like this here. Okay. Then we'll grab this here and we'll create a new collection called Interior. There. Select hierarchy, select objects, there we go. And then I have that going on, probably the normal's a little bit, there we go. Take these guys, selection, mirror, yep. I guess mirrors to the other side, that's nice. And then we're gonna grab one of these guys here. Like so. That's gonna be some kind of control surface board thing. P selection, join, nice. And then we have, well, this shouldn't go through, obviously. There we go. Like that. And then this guy, we can use some of these ladder stuff here. P selection. Interior. Select objects. Let's see, edges, maybe only on the one side, and then maybe like that. gray, maybe there, like that. Then at least I can do it like this, like that. Boink. These chairs are a little bit close to the edge here, no? And then the point is that something could happen down here. Origin to geometry. There. Okay, there we go. Okay, nice. This should all be in here. Yep. And then we're back to the outside. So is this flipped? Yeah, it is. Flip. There we go. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, I guess it's fine. Okay, here we are. Then we have our line art. So now comes the big thing. We have our line art, and we have our truck here, but we also have this interior. And when we turn it on and off, nothing's really gonna happen in here. But I think it'd be really cool if we could do a render where basically we can render the interior on top of this truck here, so that we could kind of do like a breakdown to showcase what's inside here. I'm gonna turn off the line art here because it's very, very heavy. This is something to keep in mind with the line art. It's just very heavy. I want to zoom in here a little bit here, post this even more like this, bring that guy in like that, maybe a little bit more at the front like that here. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to use these features called the view layers in Blender. And the view layer is actually something I don't use it that often, but with this line stuff, I feel like it specifically has a very good application. I just want to combine these guys up there. Nice, that looks better. So what we're gonna do is that we are gonna create a couple of different view layers, and this only works by having stuff in different collections here. The ground is there, sun is there, the ground, and we need the ground to be in. Actually, we don't need the ground, and we're gonna set this one to transparent. Oh, we do want the ground actually. How are we gonna get the ground? Just want to think about how to do this best. Okay. So we're gonna create a view layer here. We're gonna call this one the base. The base, basically. And here we're gonna turn off and on what we want or what we don't want. What we don't want is we don't want the interior. We just want the truck, and we just want this stuff we're looking at right now. That's the base. So we're essentially rendering this right now. Then we're gonna go and create a new view layer. We're just gonna call it new. Here, give us our view layer. Let's go turn on everything. Great. I'm gonna call this one interior. And this one's gonna have not the ship, not the line art, not the truck, but only the interior. And the interior could also use a little bit of color here. Basic, basic, basic. Maybe we could give it the black material. What does the truck have? What is this one called? It's called metal. Okay. I'll call this one metal. There we go. Maybe this one can also be metal. Oh, it's the wrong metal. yellow one there. I can't see what I'm clicking. The materials. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of variation. That's kind of the point. So that's this one, and we don't want the ground here, so we're gonna put that in collection also. Call it ground. And this ground here is gonna be not visible in this one, but the rest is fine. So that's the view layer. So now if I click back to base, you can see what's visible is only stuff that is ticked on. On this other one, it's only this stuff that's available. And then we're gonna create a new one. We're gonna make it blank. Call this one line. And for this one, oh, this guy actually should be in ground. There we go. For this one, we want the truck to be visible. I want the line art to be visible. But what I would like is that is for the truck to be gone, so I just get the line art by itself. And what I'm going to go here, I'm going to go up to the truck here. I'm going to set it to hold out. And you can see right now it's not doing hold out on everything. So we have to go and do this for all of these guys, basically. Hold out, and hold out, and hold out for the foot. There we go. So now on this render layer, go to interior, go to base. On base we got this, on interior we got this, and on line we got this. Technically we should also have a line for the interior, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a new one. It's gonna be blank, line art, interior. Interior, I'm just gonna set that to hold out, and then we get this line art thing here. The problem is that the line art is only applying to the truck one, so I'm gonna create a new collection here called assets. I'm gonna set the interior and the truck inside of assets. I'm gonna take the line art thing here and set that to be assets. The same thing for this guy here, assets. There we go. Okay. So if I go to line here, we see the truck. Go to interior, we see the interior. If we go to base, we see the truck here. Line, line, interior, base. And then we can smack all those things together on top of each other. And that's the whole point. So let's just look at our render scale here. I'm gonna set this to 200%. And then I don't really need that much in terms of sampling here. I'm gonna set this to 16 basically. That's fine. And then we're gonna render this out. Just pressing F12, and you can see it's gonna render all the different passes, and now it already did it. So when I open my render view here, you can see up here I have my different view layers. So I have interior, I have line, I have line, I have interior, I have base. Okay, and that's awesome. So now inside of compositing, let's say use nodes, you can see we have one render layer here and set to base. I can create another one. That one set to interior. This one could be line. This one could be line 1. Now I have all my different components, and you can see I can, a little bit of goodwill here, mix. This one should be able to go on top. Then I can look at that thing, and you can see the interiors on top of that thing. So I'm gonna just take a hue saturation thing here. That's not what I want. Hue saturation value, there we go. I take that value, set that up there. Is that how I want to do it? No, I'm gonna mix it. That's better. Mix this one. There we go. It's so weird how you navigate this thing. Okay, so now we have that interior rendered on top of the truck, basically. Makes sense? Makes sense? Okay, cool. I think we're at a good spot right now to also to take a break. and there's a lot of comments that I missed. I'm sorry, but I was really focused, and we lost basically half an hour's progress. So, well, we caught up again by using an old file. So this is some line stuff, and then from here we can basically take these different passes. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna take these passes, take them into Photoshop, and then draw a little bit on top, which is kind of the exciting bit. What else happened here? A lot of cutaway stuff. Cutaway. Cutaway. Headapan asks, that mustache amazing. I love it. I wish I could grow a similar one. What's I have a funny story about like this mustache. So I watched Dune Part 2 a couple of days ago. Basically Sunday. It was the last Sunday. I watched Dune Part 2 with some friends, and then right before Dune Part 2 we went in to eat at a restaurant. And when we got up there, we had to basically wait to be seated, right? So we're like wait up and waiting for the waiter to come and seat us. Then the waiter just looks at me, you know, just looks at me straight in the eyes, right? And I'm like, okay. And then he keeps looking at me for longer than what you would find normal. And then I'm like overthinking it. I'm like, wait, why is he looking at me? Do I know him? Like maybe I know him. Because then he started smiling at me. I'm like, maybe I know him. I have to like figure out who this guy is immediately, because I cannot place him whatsoever. It was a solid like 4 seconds. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. And like that's a long time with somebody just looking at you. And then he breaks the silence with like, man, I gotta say I love the mustache. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. He's like, yeah, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from here. He's like, damn, you know, just I miss that mustache culture. And I'm like, that's yep, me too. That's totally why I wear it. It's not because I don't want to shave. That's where I wear it. And so that was just hilarious. He was just like really into my mustache. He didn't have a mustache, but he said, I used to have a mustache, but now I don't anymore. I was like, okay, cool. So that was nice. But then literally like was it yesterday? Yesterday we went to another restaurant. This is the same group of friends we went to a restaurant with, right? And this was the, you know, the next time we had gone eating together since Sunday, right? And then we go to this place called Pinchos, which is like a kind of like a circus themed restaurant. Either way, then we go in there, and then we're like once again have to be seated. I just wait and I look at the guy, you know, and I just see the guy there, and I can just tell he's like he wants to comment on my mustache, you know. And then waiting a little bit, looks, and then he's just like, okay, so have you been to the restaurant before? I'm like, okay, he's not gonna comment on my mustache. Like I was just being selfish. Blah 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 blah. Like you need to app and you need to do this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, great. And then he's like, okay, cool. And by the way, I just gotta say, you have an amazing mustache. So it's just like twice in a row, and my friend group was just like absolutely livid, because it was just like, I mean, it's you can't just go everywhere, and then that's the only thing people can see. I'm like, nope, that's just how it works. So there you go, twice in a row. Okay, we're gonna take a 5-minute break, and then we'll be back to continue on this truck. bit early. Nice. I really need to start training again. Like, you know, moving about. I've never been very good at doing that. I used to do a lot of parkour, which was very good for my body because I was forced to move. So that's a good thing. But these days I've actually been really bad at moving. I'm always pretty physical, like in terms of like, I don't know, my body language, and I get up and walk a lot, but actually kind of more intense training, not so good with that. And also not so good at eating great, you know, like I always just cakes, etc. Okay, guys, any questions? I'm gonna be a little bit more attentive towards the chat now that I feel like I've caught up. I appreciate that you all like the mustache. I've been considering going to a barber to actually see what they would do with it, and like, you know, style it or some crap, just to see what that would look like, because I don't really do a lot, and I don't have any beard growth on the sides whatsoever, besides, you know, pathetic hairs. But then for some reason my genes have decided, you know what if we just grow all his hair right underneath his nose? And then I was like, great, let's go for it. That and my eyebrows, as you can maybe notice, I have quite a lot of hair in my eyebrows. So genes are weird, you know, because then you're like, oh great mustache, but then there's nothing here. My nose is huge, and my left leg is a tiny bit shorter than my right leg, so my hip is always slightly shifted, which is now you're writing Voidal like genes. Well, you know, a lot of imperfections. Okay. Yeah, you also have zero going on there, and then just everything around lips and well, thank you, Plexi. Making me blush. Oh yeah. I think the grass is always greener on the other side, right? You always wish what other people have in terms of looks, but you're 2 meters tall? Holy smokes. Well, you're not just 2 meters tall. So my roommate is 195. I'm 184. So 195 is already tall, you know, but 2 meters. And then I used to have a classmate, he was 2 meters and 1, so I guess like you, basically. But he's also lanky. You're just a 2 meter tall guy? That's pretty badass. That's badass. How do you fit in the chat section? That's funny. Oh, that's actually funny. Dakota, you wrote Black Horizon Visual Dictionary. What did you mean by that comment? Do you just mean that should be made? I should make that? What are you? Okay. We're gonna continue with this line stuff. So now I have all these different segments, and you can kind of see how this would work together. And I just want to bring this into Photoshop and then do some stuff with it. But essentially, yes, I was at 6 more vodka at the same time with William Bao, actually. Speaking of tall dudes, William Bao was tall, yeah. I was there at the same time he was. F12. Should I render it in 400%? Then I'll get, that's actually a little bit too much. We'll do 300. 300, and then we'll just say render like this. Whoa, no, 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 no. Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would love to do that. Yeah, we got all those different parts. Let's just save them individually here. So I'll save this one and call it base. Very nice. Image, we'll get the next one here, interior. Image, save as interior. Image, next one. Image, save as truck line. And then we almost don't need the line for this one, but still, it's just for demonstration purpose. It's fine. So inside line, there we go. And then we should be able to open Photoshop here. 202 centimeters and 115 kilo when trained, but my back can't take it anymore, so just regular exercise. Dad bod for the win. Well, that's pretty cool. You know, I actually look at a lot of strongman stuff, and you know, most of those guys now are 190 or more to kind of be properly competitive, you know. And then you got like the real titans like Brian Shaw and Haftor and stuff like this, who are in that like 205, 206 centimeter category, and you know, they end up weighing what, almost 180 kilos. That's a lot of mass, you know, and then basically pulling half a ton. It's pretty crazy. Okay, let's see here. Base. And this one. And this line here. And this line here. Truck line. There we go. Okay. So what I was thinking is, sure, we can do a breakdown like this, where it's on top here, but it's just not very close. So what I was maybe considering is grabbing something like this here, putting in a group, then duplicating that, merging that group, nope, not merging it, and just taking it along with these guys here, and just scaling it maybe 200. Yep. And then placing it somewhere like this here. And then we have that going on. And then this guy can get a little bit of a thing like this. And then we can have something like that going on. And then we have these two nice pages, one with the overall thing and one with the close-up thing. It's pretty cool. I don't weigh a lot. I've actually fluctuated a lot between 60 and 70 kilos. For a guy who's 184, that's a little bit too low, I think. The most I weighed was actually 71 kilos, I think. But I'm just naturally quite lean. I feel fine. You know, generally I think I'm healthy. But yeah, that's the thing. Okay, we've got these nice 2 pages here, and the really cool thing is that we got a cool line here, this truck line, and we can essentially rasterize that truck line. And that means that now we can go in here and then draw. So we can erase the line and then we can draw a line. That is awesome. So we can create all kinds of little modifications and things like that on everything. So I'm just gonna look at a little bit of reference here. I don't even know where to start with this stuff. But you know, we could come in and do things like this, basically. Doing little bolts. We could do all kinds of little edge wear stuff. Essentially like this, create little divots. Then you could also erase this. Oh, that looks like a rendering artifact. Well, I guess we could then go in here and then just correct that, basically, if we needed to. Correct these shadows. The world's your oyster. But it's super handy, like this, you know. Create a little bit of roughness in these guys here, make them a little bit less uniform. Creating some little attachment points like this. Maybe add some things like this here, you know. Explore this door to more detail. It's very fun, kind of relaxing process. Da, 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 da. And maybe there are little things like these, whatever these are, maybe they're like window wipers or something that can be added here. Like that. Then they can have their own little addition. Like that. You know, I'm just more kind of demonstrating here than making great decisions. That's you know, just kind of adding that little bit of exploration that maybe I didn't have time for in the 3D, or that would be more annoying to figure out in the 3D, or however you might look at it. Very cool. Also have little like welding lines and stuff. Oh, I can't remember. This thing actually shouldn't have a welding line there because it just slots in. But these guys actually could have kind of like a welding kind of scrunchy build up. Does that make sense? Then something along those lines here. And then they would all have it, basically, which would take time, to make and draw out, but I think it adds a little bit of realism, right, with the way these things now intersect, like that. Like that, basically. We're just slowly kind of making this truck more truck, giving it that there, maybe applying a little bit of window thing here. Also giving it that kind of hand-drawn approach, just somehow grounds everything in a way that's nice, I think, to the human eye. We just feel like it's a little bit more real, or not real, but it removes the CG-ness and the 3D-ness in a really good way. We could do a hole like this here. Right, just a thing like that, and then that's been added. I really like these welding lines here. That really does something to assist the thing. I want to put that in here as well. There, like that there. Guys, if you have any questions, shoot. I'm all ears. About anything. About anything. Awesome. That kind of stuff here. Yeah, those welding lines, they really bring stuff together. I hope you guys can see that. It's like they just make this whole area more real. And then a little bit of wear and tear here. Maybe there's some more scuffs going on this thing here, with the way it is there. Don't know if this one should have like a bit more of a, but it could be like that. Maybe these wheels could use a little bit of of love. Did anyone see Dune? Like the new Dune? As people hyped mega, are they like, yeah, this is the greatest stuff ever, or are you like, no, it sucked? What's the temperature? Oh, these could have been like dark. Are there parts of Black Horizon that you feel like could be better for the game? Are there parts of Black Horizon that you feel like could be better for the game? So the game I'm making, that's what you're talking about, like the game, the parkour game. Oh my god, did I make this like this? That's like just idiocy 101. Oh my god, yeah. It's a demo, guys. It's not great. Are there parts of Black Horizon that you feel like could be better for the game, visual design, lore, etc.? I'm not so sure how to answer that question actually, because it's I think for parkour game, I think there are settings that are better than the one that I'm proposing in Black Horizon. Like the setting for it is not necessarily like the best setting for making a parkour game, because I don't think it matters that much. I think whatever Mirror's Edge did for parkour game, that's a smart setting for that thing. Like it plays very much into the strength of the game stuff, but I'm trying to do two things, which is stupid, you know. I want to make a game, but also have this world, so I'm like, okay, let's just find something that I can actually do, that I know a little bit about, and then combine those things. That's kind of why it is the way it is. Does it ever does it ever discourage you? Does it ever discourage me? No. I don't think there's anything in Black Horizon that discourages me from No, I mean, I think maybe that can sound arrogant, but I think like when I make something for Black Horizon, I really make sure that I attach myself to it, and the way I do that is by making the decisions as visually insignificant as possible. I try to make very strong visuals, but it's always grounded in like there's a story and there's some characters and there's a certain relationship to the stuff in the world. And when that is settled, then it almost doesn't matter what I'm trying to use it for. It doesn't hinder the other stuff. I think it only makes it stronger, or it only makes it more fun for me, basically. That's probably the main thing. Something like that, you know? Just a little bit here to modify the feel. You could go further, but that's essentially the idea. And then if we have something like this here, then what's cool is that we could maybe go even further with this. Let's say, hey, maybe this thing here is like super duper. Like up for grabs. Rasterize layer. Then we say, okay, what we want here, we want like a way better seed. Maybe 8. Maybe we have some head pillows things there. Maybe there's some armrest stuff. You know, we could go a lot further with this stuff here. And I would probably personally push it to way more in 3D, but for demonstration purpose, then, you know, we could make this work like this. All the stuff there. Here we could have, also we need to have that kind of boink, like that, boink, like that, boink, like so, like so, like that, like that, and then maybe over here there's some screens or some monitors or something for displaying everything. Maybe some small monitors sitting here. All this kind of stuff. Related to all this guidance things. The screens there. That, like that, like that. Some kind of cabinet thing going on here. then, you know, we can come in and correct this stuff a little bit. Create some shadow and light here and there. Maybe painting some things out a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, at least not for what I'm doing. You know, just some slight corrections. There. And once again, the more you do in 3D, the easier this will become. Rasterize layer here. Merge layers. There, like so. Nice. Gonna get some of this stuff here going. Highlighting the corners, things like that, like that, like that, like that, like that, and then maybe get some screens, colors, I don't know, some darker blues maybe. Something kind of like that. And then that means that we can put that on top, and then you're kind of seeing that thing inside there. Joe Cormio asks, how do you approach killing the 3D look in your renders when you are after a more painterly look? I have a video on my YouTube channel called how to make your 3D renders look epic or something. Wait, let's see here. What's it called? Basically this one, how to make your 3D renders epic. And there I kind of talk a little bit about it, how I actually do this. There's a host of different methods. Some are more procedural, some are more handcrafted. There's lots of ways, but I think the best I could say is that, like, you're setting up your I mean for me at least, like, looking painterly is not as important as it looking illustrative. So you want to have like slightly exaggerated lights and shadows and features and those kind of things already in your 3D, so that you have a very solid base. Like the better base you have, the more easy it is to make it look 3D, to make it look painterly or whatever you want to say. I don't really do that so much anymore, making things look painterly, but I do think that that, like, you know, I really like what I make now, basically, like these times here, like these things, they don't look painterly, but to me they feel painterly, if that makes sense. Like they have that vibrancy and kind of like that like designed nature, that they have a similar feeling, and I don't really need the painterly aesthetic to make them feel the way I want them to feel. And I don't really mind, like, even mixing the stuff. That's okay for me, because it's about something very different. But I think that, like, that the vibrancy and like the very clear-cut designed nature makes stuff look less 3D, even if it is 3D, at least to me. Whereas something like, you know, this, for example, like, it can feel a bit more painterly, even though there's still some 3D stuff, but you know, here it's more 3D. Here it's still 3D mixed with paint. It's not because it's a particularly great example. This thing feels maybe more painterly here and there. I don't really do it that much. It's just because also it's kind of time consuming, and if I'm painting anyways, I'd rather just paint from scratch and just do the whole thing with paint, as opposed to making the 3D feel painterly. But something you can try, just as a quick note, is I'm just gonna grab one here, grab this one, new, yep, fine. So I have this one here. I have these set of brushes that I use sometimes. That's like smudge brushes, and they work like this, basically. I haven't actually used them that much, but you know, you can do stuff like this essentially, like to just make things a bit less, you know, rigid. Just be a cool way to just break everything up a little bit and simplify the things like this here. Simplify these things together, then to become painterly or whatever, right? That's kind of the goal here. Then wear something like that, like that, you know. But it's just a lot of work, you know. You're kind of treating every surface to get to that point, and you can do it like this, where you're smudging things around, keeping that color. Also go much more aggressive, you know, be like way more like, okay, bam, 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 really killing that 3D-ness. And then you're getting that kind of stuff there, etc., etc. Just painting on top here, like that. You know, and if that's what you want, you know, or you just go in with an actual brush, and then you paint the stuff out, paint it in, or fill in some of the stuff here that you're like, oh, actually that could be simplified. That could be like that. That could be like that, etc. You know. And then it's before and after here. You know, and I think, you know, the feel of the image isn't that different. If you ask me, you know, it's sure it's more painterly, but the vibrancy and like the feeling is not. So it's just, for me, it's never really worth it to go that far. Other people disagree. They say that it's really worth it. I'm a little bit more like, no, I'd rather just embrace the 3D and then make that work, or just paint it from the ground up, etc. Okay, very cool. So then we basically have that and that, you know. And then maybe with this thing we could do a little bit of a mask where we kind of just give it like wait, what? Oh, okay, so only on this one here. There we go. And then color white. I don't know what would be the best way of showing this, but I just don't want to show the whole thing. I'm just gonna do like a faded look. Like there. And then that's the cockpit. And then we have this guy here. Gonna get a cool font. Here's the Brandon Grotesque here. Call it the Ballerina. Ballerina. And then we're gonna give it a little bit of a distance maker here. Okay. Let's see. Air, ground to air. Whoop. Launch support vehicle. Three, 54. Does that have a cool acronym? Gills? No, it doesn't. Nice. Full view. 72. There we go. And then we have that. Put that in a group here. Put it in there. Duplicate it. Put it on top of that one. There we are. And we have interior. Oh, interior. Interior view. Oh yeah, let's save this thing. Truck. Line truck. Should probably also save the Blender file. Not that one. That one got lost. Well, we have it in the stream, so it's there in the stream. Yeah, I think you guys get the point, you know. Using the line in this kind of way. Then we have like a little nice display thing, basically. I think it looks pretty nice. Honestly, I'm not hating this at all. Can I show it in a way where everyone can see it? There we go. Sorry, I want to see here. Throw an impressionistic painting with texture over the piece, compress shadows and highlights, and then hand paint harder edges, loosen up the strokes and shape for the distance. Yeah, makes sense. Some choice my desired look personally. What about when it comes to characters? Are you painting more or using more 3D? I'm not using any 3D for characters. I'm only a drawing, basically. For me, characters, it basically comes down to doing it like like this, like just drawing and some local shading and some rendering of stuff. That's a good example here. Lots of, I do characters like this basically. I just like drawing characters more than making them in 3D. I also don't mind mixing the stuff like completely. I don't care. I'll just mix the 2D with the 3D. Like it's completely not in the same world, but I'm like, that's fine. Like the character stands out and it works for what I needed to do, so it's fine to me in that regard. Yeah, but sometimes I'll take the time to paint something more properly. But basically, that's how I do the characters. I asked the question earlier because I'm stuck in a pickle and I'm just curious on how other artists would feel. What question? So the whole, how do you approach killing the 3D? Does it ever discourage you? Is that the thing you were questioning or asking? Struggling with killing the 3D people inside a nice environment. I mean, paint on top. I think painting on top of people is great, but you might also need a little bit of experience painting characters. But you can do a lot with just painting on top of the characters and adding. I mean, I can show you some really stupid simple stuff. So this is like a really bad example, because these guys are 3D characters here, but I just want to show you that like basically I just changed their cloth a little bit, and then I gave this guy like a weird ponytail kind of thing, and then gave them some wristband stuff, and they're still 3D, but they just become a little bit less 3D. The same thing over here, I think. Yeah, this is a good example. Look at this. Like, so here, two characters, and then they're basically painted, but they look like this. Etc. Also, I'm not the best with like actually finishing pieces and getting that nice crisp look on my pieces. I'm more of a designer than an illustrator. So I rely a lot on just the concept being good, as opposed to my stuff having the most crisp, awesome look. Excuse me. Very clean. Would honestly like to see ship designs this way. Oh, okay, like this, yeah. No, I think that'd be cool. It'd be fun to do some ship designs like this. It's a good look. Asking if you're basically willing to kill your darlings, even if it's 1/3 of your project. Okay, so that's what you're asking. Right. Okay, I see what you mean. Right. So if I had to. If I have some kind of project, and then you have Black Horizon or whatever. Okay, so just to bring everyone on the same page. So basically I have this universe called Black Horizon, blah, 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 blah. It's a sci-fi universe. I've been working on it for many years. And I have a bunch of projects I want to do within this world, within this sci-fi universe called Black Horizon. And it's everything I post basically on ArtStation is related to this Black Horizon thing. And I do all this stuff that's kind of related to the world building stuff, talking about these things, etc. But then, then I want to do a game. I want to do a couple different games, and sometimes what happens is that you might want to change something to fit the thing you're trying to do, or even maybe you're doing something within the world that suddenly takes everything in a different direction, like, oh, but then this really has to change, or this has to adapt or something. I think there is a balance there where over time, at least, I got better at knowing which decisions were good decisions. But the bottom line is that when you're starting out, you have to be really prepared to kill your darlings. I have no issue whatsoever killing my darlings. But I think something really good is like really go the distance with something and then see it and then feel that, like, you know what, this doesn't work. And going that distance and just really feeling that, okay, you don't have enough to work with, is really going to teach you what works and what doesn't work. And then be prepared to just take 17 steps back. I've done this many times with this other world I have, with this like fantasy world. It started out a long time ago, like 20 years ago or something like that. Not 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And I wanted to build a fantasy world, and I thought it was great for a long time. And then I became older and smarter, and then it was like, okay, I need to like rewrite this completely. And I basically kept 4 or 5 things or something, and then I started from there. Then I developed, and then I thought it was great, and then I was like, this sucks, and then I took 17 steps back, and then I kept maybe 10 or 15 things. I was a little bit better at keeping things and understanding what worked and what didn't work, and then I went on from there, and now it's in a good-ish spot. And I think what it taught me was just to like recognize what are the right kinds of decisions to make. And what's hard there is that it's not always it's not like you can be like, oh, whenever you make a good character, it'll have this and this and this, and then you'll know what is good. But I think you should really, killing your darlings is important, but you can't also just be like on a killing spree and just kill everything. You also have to stick with something sometimes and then play with it until it feels good. And sometimes it doesn't, but you have to be willing to kind of be uncomfortable a little bit and just try things around, try to mess with things. And I think that like foundation of like, okay, I now have overall good decisions, and then I'd rather make my projects fit this world than make my world fit the project, to be honest. Because for me, actually, the core product is the world, not any of these like the game or a film or a comic book or whatever you might have. That those are honestly secondary. They all take place in the world. So I figure out projects that play well with the stuff I already have. And that's going to be very different. Some people are going to be like, no, the game comes first, and then we're going to figure out what works well with the world for that project. But I'm more interested in developing the world. So I'd rather, and that creates a lot of tension. And honestly, maybe going back to the thing, like a little bit of discouragement. Like I get slightly discouraged when I have to make a game, and then it's like, oh, but the world says it should be like this. Should I then change it? And that makes the game thing difficult. And then I'm like, yeah, it does make it more difficult, but it's all in service of the world. And I think maybe that's just the thing. Know which part you want to push, and then it's because it's always going to create tension one way or the other. Like maybe you're doing game first and gameplay first, and you're like, this is the most important thing. And then maybe your world will suffer because it makes the game better. But then you make that choice, and that's okay. So yeah, that's cool. Okay, I hope that this line stuff made some amount of sense. There were some things there I wanted to try. I have this thing that I made. I want to see if I can find it. Let's see here. Let's see here if I can find this thing here. I found this thing. Here we go. I was teaching some students like a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to teach them some line rendering stuff because they were comic book students basically. And I was like, look, we can use line renderer to do some stuff, and then I made a tiny comic, which is yeah, it's like I can read it out. Once there was a castle it wanted to be made, but nobody wanted to draw it. But a kind traveler came by and thought there was perhaps a way. That's the kind traveler. The castle could be made in 3D and Blender rendered with line, shape and color. The castle liked this idea and decided to let the traveler have his way. And so the castle was made for everyone to see. There we go. And that's me! Or a hyper drawn version of me. Whatever. You know, I was made in like 30 minutes basically. But I had the 3D scene and then etc. So that's pretty fun, basically. Yeah, it was just like super easy the way that this was done. You know, if I had the scene, then it took 30 minutes to put all this together in Photoshop. I like, okay, cool, done. Pretty good. Okay. Ballerina. I want to do this more. I think this could be cool to do with a ship. I really want to do it with some of the ships I have in Black Horizon. I specifically have the ship over here. No, actually, here. Like I have this ship. That ship there. Actually, that's the one I want to do it with. Also, maybe this one. You know, I have some of these breakdowns here, which are cool, but it could be cool to do some stuff with the line things. Try to render out some of the specific details, etc. Have you made any comics? No, I have not actually. I tried making comics a long time ago, but never really happened. Then last take is a city map. What? Then last take is a city map. What do you mean? Yeah, that could be fun. I have some specific details, so that could be cool. I really like this. I thought this was a great method. I think it's a good look and it feels very clear and distinct what's going on. And if the 3D model is at a good level, then it works. And this kind of overpaint stuff is nice and distinct. I just want to find a way to make it fit the Black Horizon theme a little bit more. Am I just saying etc, 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 etc? Do a ship then maybe a similar look, but for a city map of like the Yulin capital, Parkway, Industrial. Ah, okay, I see. Yeah, that could be cool. But it's just like when you have a sci-fi world, you're like, oh, let's do a map, and you're like, there's just so many cities, so many, you know. Saved. There you go. But maybe it could do a ship with like, I kind of wanna, if I just open this guy here, then I have that one, and I bring it in here, then you know, could do something like, you know, like that. Could look pretty good. I actually did modify this one a fair bit now. So, okay, Dakota, actually, in relationship to some of the things you said, I have been sometimes going back on, like, majorly going back on some design stuff. So for some of these ships, actually, I had to take a very big, somewhat detour. Because I just realized over time that some of the stuff was too visual, and I needed some more, like basically engineering work to make it feel more interesting, and also I wanted them to look more distinct and not as maybe potentially generic. So I had to reevaluate a lot of the designs, and I ended up doubling down a lot on some other things. Yeah, this is cool. And maybe I can find it here. I'll just see if I can find some of the stuff. I'm not entirely sure, but I will just save this here, close this. Just gonna see what is what here. This one's a pretty big file. This is not the one. But I'll begin making like a cockpit for this thing, or like a bridge, basically. And then in here we have people standing around. It's just so much to make. Not this file here. Maybe this file. So this was one of the things I ended up doing. I was like, okay, I really want better re-entry. So when a ship comes into space, you know, it has to grind against a certain atmosphere, or it has to put its belly towards the atmosphere and then slow down. And so I'm going to do shielding on the bottoms of all these Julian ships, because I thought that'd be cool. And I want everything to work more physically correct. So now all these things have to be able to rotate and that kind of stuff, and land and work and that kind of stuff. Don't think this is the one. I had this file that I did way back when we were doing a stream, actually. I wonder where that is. It's not this file, but this is kind of a little bit of it. Let's see if I can find this this ship file here. I'm just gonna search .blend. Don't know what that is. Dropship, maybe? I think it's dropship, actually. So yeah, I had all these ships, and then I was like, okay, I need to do a major redesign of a lot of the... Whoops. Here it is. This is the one. So, okay. I haven't really shared these things yet, but you guys got to see them now. So, I've had all these ships over here, you know, and they're already presented, and I'm trying to commit to be like, this is what they look like, and this is how everything works, but sometimes, you know, changes happen, and you want to redo something, so I'll have to find a way to work with what I got, and then improve upon it, or use that thing. So, I want everything to look more unique, and have more functionality. So I ended up doing this here. It'll become a little bit clearer when it all renders, but hopefully you can already kind of see what's going on. And this actually relates back to one of the first streams we did. One of the earlier streams. Just waiting for textures to load in here. Okay, So this is kind of what's going on, right, with these ships instead. And essentially it's just carrying a bunch of planes on the side here that can easily be boarded, and then like so fighters basically, and then little cargo ships, like little, and then they can fly out, or little drop ships, and they can leave the mouth basically. So it's a carrier, but the carrying bay is open, etc. And then a blade of shielding stuff, and then some engine things. And I'm just trying to reevaluate the whole look, and the goal is for this to basically look like a wolf. I think maybe I had a look of it at some point. Oh, basically to look like a wolf's head. Might not be entirely apparent, but the goal is for this to kind of look like a skull. And you're not supposed to think skull, but I want you to kind of feel like it looks a little bit like this kind of and then something like that. Etc. That's kind of the goal here in a weird way. Like that. No? Like a skull. And then these guys kind of become the teeth on the side here, etc. And then that's going to be the theme for all the ships now, that they all carry stuff like this. They all have that kind of iconic carrying of the fighters on the side, regardless of the... And it gives them a way more unique look. I'm way more excited about this direction of the ships, with the way everything looks. And this is actually the carrier that we made during one of those first streams. Has this lopsided carrier, and then this is a dropship I made at some point that I love. I think this one looks great. It's like, yeah, it has that cool. This has a good shape. And then up here we have like a nice little one on a rail, like whoop, that can fly out there, and it's like a more elegant version of these guys. So probably if there's some kind of general aboard or commander or something, that's the one they can take. And yeah, that's kind of what that thing is. And what else is here? Is there... I could try activating this thing, but let's see if everything just slows down to a halt. Bye, Schultz, thank you. Yeah, and I was in the process of basically converting this thing and figuring out how much stuff it could stack inside its mouth, basically inside its maw. So the hope is that it gets this kind of iconic like teeth like thing. So you have a nice contrast of like big clean shape and then little symmetrical detail happening, and I was in the process of making that thing also follow that thing. But I would want to do a breakdown of this thing essentially, maybe using this line technique that we've just been exploring today. Like that could be pretty cool, and then show these ships flying away or something like that. Teeth of the Emperor. That's pretty cool. Like and there's a kind of like a jaw thing, you know, like a mouth, and then hell breaks loose from the mouth. I feel like there's something kind of poetic about that or something. So that's kind of exciting. And it was a very good change for me. It was a very good, like, it gave the ships something besides just like a color palette and a shape. It gave them a way that they work, and then all the designs have to kind of follow that, and it made everything easier. But it was a big overhaul for me. But it was exciting. So it definitely didn't discourage me. But I also think that's because if the decision was good, then, you know, it's this exciting. I don't really know what I'm saying, but yeah. Making changes just because you feel like you have to make a change, then don't do it, if that makes sense. Okay, cool. I think I'm gonna have to end the stream. I'm kind of rambling a little bit. I'm also just warming up to getting back into a more normal streaming session. I hope that next time I can be a little bit more decisive and have better words and be more attentive to the chat. But as always, it's just been amazing having you guys. Next time will be a little bit more solid, hopefully. So yeah. Either way, well, appreciate you guys stopping by. We have to end on tax evasion stuff. If you want to evade some taxes, just grab this guy here, sit in it, and then just launch into the stratosphere, and then you'll evade those taxes. That's just how it works. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in, and hopefully see you guys in the next one.